All right, things that you did not know about the movie Ace Ventura.
Alrighty then.
Detective. All right, so it was released on February 4th, 1994. The budget was just $15 million, and it made over $107 million at the box office. Jim Carrey had complete creative freedom. Jim Carrey, who was... The stuff that I looked at was like, he was relatively unknown. I mean, a lot of us, our age group, knew who he was from In Living Color.
Yeah. I never watched In Living Color, so I had never heard of him before. He came out of nowhere for me.
Oh, there you go. So, and he was also, very early on, he was listed as James Carrey when it came to that. But yeah, so he was relatively unknown. I mean, other than the whole In Living Color thing or Earth Girls Are Easy. Mm-hmm. And he was given significant creative control over the character of Ace Ventura. He improvised much of the film's dialogue and physical comedy, creating the over-the-top, eccentric personality that made the character iconic. Carrey based Ace's mannerisms partly on a combination of a bird and a hyperactive child. Did you know Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was almost a straightforward detective story?
Jesus.
Early drafts of the script depicted Ace Ventura as a more traditional private detective. When Carrey signed on, he completely reworked the character into a goofy, flamboyant, and eccentric version. Audiences know today, transforming the film into a comedy. He said, okay.
Why the hell would you do a serious movie about a pet detective?
Oh, who knows? Well, Sean Young played the villain after a failed audition for another role.
Courtney
She played...
Cox? Courtney Cox role?
Put a pin in it.
Yeah. So she ended up playing Lieutenant Einhorn, or Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. She originally auditioned for the role of Melissa Robinson. That was played by Courtney Cox. After not landing that part, though, she was cast as Einhorn instead, and she delivered a memorable performance as the film's antagonist. The dolphin tank scene was actually filmed at the Dolphins' real stadium, sort of. The scenes involving Snowflake, the Dolphin mascot, were shot at the Miami Orange Bowl. That was the former home of the Dolphins. At that point, they had already, I think they were still calling it Joe Robbie Stadium at that time. The production received permission from the NFL to incorporate their branding and players, further solidifying the film's Miami setting, including Dan Marino and his isotoners. Don't forget about that. And finally, the film's success launched Jim Carrey's career. That's not really something that you guys don't know. But Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was a surprise box office hit, grossing over $100 million on a budget of just $15 million. This film, along with The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, made Carrey a superstar in 1994, a year that would become a year that came to be known as the Year of Jim Carrey. His performance as Ace... Huh?
I was going to say, you want to hear a funny story about the Ace Ventura movie?
Yes, dude. Like, you don't need to ask.
So, this was when I was in Scouts, and I think we were somewhere in Alabama, and that movie had come out.
Frank was a scout. That makes sense.
Yeah, and well, it gets so much weirder. So the scout troop I was in, most of those kids and parents.
I can't see Alan's face. Fuck. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Went to Catholic school, so they were brought up Catholic, and everybody wanted to go see a movie that night. And some of these guys were like, "We need to go see Ace Ventura." So they talked to parents into going and seeing Ace Ventura, right? Which
clearly not knowing what it was about.
What it was about, exactly. And the thing was, my mom and another mom, one of the guys' moms, were pack leaders. And so when it came to that one infamous scene at the end of the movie, and they turn Roy Finkel around.
The hemorrhoid scene, if you will.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about conversations that were had about that movie and how horrible that
well, I could definitely see it, man.
That was so funny.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Bunch of 13-year-old boys going, what the hell was that?
Yeah. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, did she poop her pants?
Yeah, I remember thinking, I was trying to figure out. I was like, what was that? Like, was that supposed to be a penis? Like, I didn't understand.
And then for some strange reason, I always related a penis to hemorrhoids. Like it was always one of those things where I was like, what the hell's going on here?